Do you find yourself saying yes when you really want to say no? Let's explore the psychology behind people pleasing and how to break the cycle. Many of us have been conditioned to prioritize others' needs over our own, leading to feelings of resentment, anxiety, and burnout. By the end of this discussion, you'll have actionable steps to reclaim your time and energy back. So let's understand people pleasing. Why do we feel the need to please others? Well, research in personality and individual differences suggests that people pleasing often stems from a desire for acceptance and a deep-seated fear of rejection. And we know that in social psychology, the need for belonging is paramount. So what triggers this behavior for you? Maybe it's the need to fit in, to avoid conflict, or gain approval from those around you. To not be rejected, to fit in. When you encounter difficult situations where you are triggered to people please, I encourage you to acknowledge these emotions, these feelings in yourself, and that is the first step towards understanding them. So let's get into it. There are consequences for this behavior. You will feel anxious, constantly seeking approval to please everyone around you. This can even lead to depression and even physical burnout and fatigue. So think back to times when you felt completely drained after prioritizing someone else's needs over your own. It's like you're running on empty, constantly refilling someone else's tank without ever stopping to refuel your own. Especially for people with deep emotional empathy, this can even lead to compassion fatigue. So recognizing the signs is one of the first steps. Consider some of these common signs, such as avoiding conflict at all costs, or feeling guilty for prioritizing yourself, or frequently overcommitting to others. Ask yourself, when was the last time you felt overwhelmed because you didn't want to say no? Reflect on specific instances where you notice these patterns. How frequently does this occur? And recognizing this behavior is the pivotal step in breaking the cycle. And we all do it to some extent. But the key thing to do to combat people pleasing is to set boundaries, healthy boundaries. So how can you establish healthy boundaries in your own life? First thing to do for healthy boundaries is to recognize your limits, your limitations, where you need to put the boundaries. A study in health psychology highlights that setting boundaries can significantly reduce stress and improve overall well-being. Doesn't that sound fantastic? What areas in your life need clearer boundaries? Maybe it's with work, with family or friends. So think about where in your life you need healthy boundaries and visualize what those boundaries would look like in practice. And here are 5 practical steps to action to overcome people pleasing. Number 1 is practice saying no. No is a complete sentence. Start small. The next time someone asks you for a favor that you really don't want to do, you know deep down inside you can feel it. There is resistance. Practice declining. You could say, I appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't commit to that right now. Number 2, prioritize self-care, and this is crucial. Schedule regular you time into your calendar, whether it's reading a book or going for a walk or simply enjoying a cup of coffee without interruptions. Remember that self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Number 3, reframe your thinking. Shift your mindset from I need to please them to I deserve to prioritize myself. Put yourself into frame. This is a game changer. When you start to internalize this belief, you'll notice a shift in how you interact with others. And number 4, seek support. Don't hesitate to talk to a therapist or join a support group or connect with a support network. Discussing your people-pleasing tendencies in a safe space can provide valuable insights and coping strategies. Even cognitive behavioral therapy can assist with this. So sometimes having an external perspective can illuminate the patterns that you can't see within yourself. And number 5, the role of self-compassion is very important. And it's a bit like self-care, but it's truly seeing yourself and having a deep kindness for yourself, a deep compassion. Ask, how can I be kinder to myself? practice self-compassion can significantly reduce the need for external validation as well. Research from Self and Identity shows that self-compassion is linked to greater emotional resilience, so being more resilient in the face of stress. Consider journaling about ways that you can practice self-kindness and ask yourself, how would I be kind if I was my best friend? How would I be kind to myself? Imagine how liberating it would be to let go of that constant pressure to meet everyone else's expectations. Think of a scenario where you said no and how freeing it felt. Maybe you had more time to binge watch that show that you love or finally tackle that hobby that you've been putting off. These little moments of joy can accumulate into a more fulfilling life when you put yourself into the frame. And it all starts with honouring your own needs. It's important to remember that you can still care for others while caring for yourself, and maybe even better. Quite likely even better. When you assert your boundaries, you're not pushing other people away. You're showing them how to respect you. It's like saying, hey, I value our relationship enough to be honest about my limits. And now you're creating a healthy relationship and a healthy dynamic. Plus, this can lead to healthier and more genuine connections where you both feel valued.